What's up, YouTube? John Lawlin here again with another video. Today I just kind of want to talk a little bit about just some things that happened over the last few months at my work. To just kind of share with you how I believe that God is in control and that He makes everything happen according to His will for a purpose. And I just believe that He's used me in some of those ways at my work. So, real quick, my job is a porter. I work at a car dealership. I don't think I've ever mentioned that before in other videos, but basically what I do is, I'm the lot attendant, basically. I park the cars in the front line. I straighten them out, make everything look good. Sometimes I'll put the little window stickers and stuff on there. I get the cars to and from service, details. Sometimes I'll do little errand runnings, things like that. Maybe I'll wash them from time to time, things like that. I'm a lot attendant. Excuse me. So I also check in the cars, whenever they get in on a trade, or if they purchase some cars like from an auction or something. I look through the cars, make sure it has its stuff, like I'll check them in, get the miles off of them, make the little key tags, year, make, model, stock number, things like that. And I'll check for things and make sure that they have their floor mats, their little books, little owner's manuals. If it has wheel locks, does it have the key, spare tire jack, all that kind of stuff. So I'm looking for things throughout the car, and I'm also making sure that customers didn't leave valuables inside the cars, and if they did, I get them to the manager so they can get it back to them. So one day I'm doing that, and it's actually two times that I want to bring up. And so this first time that I'm talking about, I'm looking through the glove box, and I see some paper looking stuff, because that's also a thing they want us to do, because our detailers don't always get in there and take trash and like other papers and stuff out of there, because they only want to keep the owner's manual and the wheel lock key in there, or anything that actually belongs to the car. If there's like other papers in there, they want us to get that out. Well, I see some stuff in there that looks like papers. Well, it's paper, all right. I pull it out, and it's $100 bill, and there's more in there, and I keep pulling it out, and just one by one, hundreds are coming out, and I end up with $900 in my hand, and I'm like, wow, this was just sitting in this car, and I'm just amazed by it. And I'm like, well, I got to get this back to its customer. Admittedly, there was a little bit of me that's like, man, like I could just keep this. No one would even know about it. And at the time, I was in the middle of a move. We were stressed out about money, because we were like, man, like we're kind of short. I actually had to borrow money from my parents to help with the move. And I'm like, man, with this would pay for nearly the whole entire thing, and we'd have maybe 100 or 2 left over. So I'm like, this would help so much. So I thought, God's putting me to the test right now. This is a test of my integrity. I was so sure of it. It had to be. Because, like, is it any coincidence that it happens at this time? But I'm like, no, there's no way that I can keep this. No, I got to do the right thing. Pretty much without hesitation, I was like that. I just knew I had to do the right thing and get it back to him. And then there was a little voice saying, what if God put this there for you to help you out with this move? Like, what if this was God answering your prayer and providing for you? But I'm like, no. I quickly was like, no, there's no way, no, God would not do that because that is stealing, and God would not make me sin. He would not ask me to do something against his commandments, because that's stealing, because we can easily pull up this car's VIN number, find out who the customer was that traded in, because it was only like a day ago. We can easily find out who did that and get it back to them. To me, that was no different than finding a wallet with somebody's ID in it. Now, if I found it out on the lot, like, that's a different story. It could be anybody's, without a wallet or something, just laying there. Anybody could say, oh yeah, that's definitely mine, but like, if there is a way to find out whose it is, I gotta do the right thing. So I thought it was a test of my faith, and I thought it has to be, clearly. Then there was another time that I was checking in a car and looking through it, and I find a picture laying upside down, and I'm like, okay, what is this? And then, whoa, it was a nude photo of some guy's wife or girlfriend. And I'm like, whoa. So for a split second, I'm like, oh, and I like immediately turn it back over, without hesitation. Did not take the time to oogle over it or anything like that. I immediately put it back upside down and kind of thought for a second, okay, I got to dispose of this somehow. Because, I was about to send it to the detail shop, and I'm like, I don't want to leave it there and then have it end up in some guy's hands that's just going to oogle over it and, keep it and God knows what else, and because that's not their woman to look at. And I also felt bad for the girl in the picture, because it's like, there she is, trying to, take a sexy photo for her man, and I'm assuming most likely it was for his eyes only, either boyfriend or husband, which, if they're not married, we really had no business doing that anyway, but clearly I think it was supposed to be for one man's eyes only. But whoever it was, I don't know if they broke up or whatever, or they're getting a divorce or something, just left it right there and open. And I know that was intentional, because it was like right there, upside down. Why would you do that? And then it's going to end up in God knows whose hands. So I'm like, I gotta dispose of this somehow. And so, it kind of sounds a little funny, but I got out a Sharpie, and like, I hold it facing away from me, because I didn't want to look at it while I'm trying to scribble it out, because I didn't want to see it again. And so I'm like, I got it facing the other way, and I'm like, like this on the other side, hoping that I'm kind of blurring it out. But I'm like, well, what if I missed it? So I like kind of get it, and I like rub it against the concrete on the ground, trying to like get rid of it. And I'm like folding it up, and just trying to do everything I can to make it not visible anymore. That way no one finds it and sees it, and that's not supposed to see it. And then I throw it away. So why do I share these two stories? Well, the first story I didn't even want to share with anybody, because I didn't tell anybody. I'm just like, I don't need to be like, oh, look at me, look at what I did, and get proud of myself, because God doesn't want us to do that. He doesn't want us to be like, hey, yeah, look at me, look at what I did, and I didn't want to do that, so I didn't tell anybody. But it ended up going around the whole entire dealership, because my manager was so impressed at what I did and thought it was huge of me to turn in that $900. I didn't really tell him much. I didn't really tell hardly anyone about the picture, but the $900, he was so impressed by it that he went around telling everybody. He had a meeting about it, telling pretty much everybody in the sales staff about it. It ended up going to a corporate guy. It ended up going to the GM, and so people ended up hearing about it anyway. So I'm like, well, I was keeping it to myself, but everybody knows about it now. And so why do I talk about these stories? Well, it's because I I share that because I want to tell people that, obviously, do the right thing. God's watching us. Do the right thing. Do what Christ would do. But also to say that God has a plan, and I believe that He puts people in the right places at the right time. Because I no longer believe that that was a test of my faith. Because I was thinking, oh, that's a test of my faith right there. That's a test of my integrity. God put me to the test. And then maybe the same with the picture, like, oh, He's probably seeing if I'm going to lust after it, if I'm going to keep it or what, and hide it behind my wife's back or something. But I don't think either one of those. I don't think it was a test at all, because for one, Scripture tells us that God doesn't tempt us. Now, He'll let us be tempted, but He's not the one who tempts us. So there's that. And then two, I believe God put me there on purpose, because He knew that I would turn in that money, and He also knew that I would not let that photo of that woman get put into the wrong hands. He knew that I would get rid of it and dispose of it properly. So I believe that God has His hand over every situation and has the right people there at the right time for the right reasons. So that's why I share that story. And then also to say God's watching, and do the right thing. So anyways, I mean that's the video. I just decided to do something a little different, do a little story time, about how I believe that God brings in the right people at the right time, and He has us. So don't worry about situations, because God's got it covered. I mean, even if you're thinking, oh man, like thinking the worst of something, God's got a plan, and He'll put the right people at the right time. I mean, might even use you. So God bless you guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. God bless.